Alright, so welcome back. Got the bike inside my garage, and it is time for me to start tearing this thing apart and getting into it and do the repairs. So if you're interested in fixing up a Kayo 250, this video might be for you. If it turns out to be a crazy long video and there's lots of extra stuff to do, I'll break it up into individual videos. But otherwise, we're going to be doing a full service on the bike, fixing a front fork seal, fixing the front brake, adjusting the chain, getting it ready basically for the track and for the trails. So thank you for watching. Let's get into it. First thing we need to do is get it up on the lift. So I'll show you how I do that with my Harbor Freight motorcycle lift. Alrighty, so this is a motorcycle ATV lift. It's rated for 1,500 pounds. I can show you that there. This is from Harbor Freight Tools. They run $100 and something. I'll throw a link to that. But as much as I really like the big platform lifts to elevate the bike right up to waist height, I just don't have the space in my garage. Most important thing is make sure the fluid is good in this. Practice going up and down with it. It's a simple ratchet with the arms, and when you want to let it go down, you twist this anti-clockwise or counterclockwise, and it will drop it down like that. So a right turn will lock it in the upright position, a left turn will decrease it and lower it. I also use a ratchet strap, so really good idea to have a good quality ratchet strap. Once you've got your bike up on your lift, you need to ratchet it down through the engine block and frame, hold it to the lift so it doesn't fall over. Then you're going to be able to move it around. That click was the locking mechanism. On the main riser, there's a locking mechanism which will prevent you from going down any further than that unless you raise this little handle. Don't put your ratchet on anything that's going to bend. Okay, no exhaust pipes, manifold, headers, wiring, fuel lines. Just go through past the frame. Make sure you're on top of the block. That feels pretty tight there. Bike feels pretty tight. I'm going to move this. So all I've done is come through and down, and I'm locked into the bottom of the underside of the frame there. So the whole bike now is strapped to the top of the frame. With the bike being strapped onto the, you just tighten it a little more, get it up as high as you want, lock that off nice and tightly. Get your strap out of the way. So what I can do now is literally move the bike on this frame, forward, back, and it will even allow me to do a complete 360 if I want to. So it's a really nice, if you're on a smooth surface, you know, this is a 250, 260 pound dirt bike, but this will allow me to move it around my garage, move it around, getting up and down, and I can work on everything now knowing that it is secure. Okie dokie, so now we've safely got the bike up on the lift. I'm going to pull all the plastic off this bike. In order to get to the air filter, I want to adjust the carbs. I want to get to the battery and replace the battery or charge the battery. The bike is not starting. So very simple job. I'm not even going to show you how I do it. It's basically, you can see all these screws around here, these little, they're either an Allen head or they're a Phillips head. So just have the right Allen size, go into it, unthread it, pull them off, plastic's going to come straight off. So I'm just going to work around the bike quickly over the next, probably take me about 15-20 minutes to pull the plastic off, pull the seat off, and we'll see what we find underneath. Alright, so before I start pulling this apart, I thought I'd share a couple of time-saving techniques in case you lose your nuts and bolts, or there are specific fitments and fittings and bolts that go to certain parts of the plastic or anything on your bike really, one of the things I always do, and I've learned basically by screwing up in the past and losing stuff and not knowing how it all goes back together, just get yourself some freezer bags. Get yourself some simple plastic cheap sandwich bags. Get a packet of 50 from the pound shop, from the dollar store, from the supermarket. Get yourself a roll of masking tape, white or blue, whatever's cheapest, an indelible marker pen, and then when you pull your nuts and bolts off, stick them in a bag, put a piece of tape on the bag, and write on the tape, right side fairing bolts, and take those bolts and stick them in the bag and label them. So that when on the ground and when you have to put it all back together, it might be a week from now or 2 weeks from now that you end up putting the bike back together, and you'll just be able to go back to that bag and be like, oh, there you go, here's the right side rear quarter panel fairing bolts, and they're in a bag labeled. So as you can see, I'm ready to rock and roll. I've got my Star bolt removers, I've got my Allen keys, I've got screwdriver, I've got more Allens here, and we're going to get into it and start pulling all this plastic off. So yeah, do yourself a favor for in the future and just label everything, stick it in a bag, and then once you've got your bag with your bolts, you can stick it to the bit of plastic that you just pulled off, even if it's just 2 bolts. If every piece of plastic has the same bolt, great. But if it's a different thread, different pitch, different head size, you never know. Just it's a really cheap, simple, easy way of going backwards and being able to put it all back together and have everything in the right spot. All right, so you can see the first bit of plastic's off. That was just a couple of bolts. Phillips heads, actually 1 Phillips and 1 Allen, so they've obviously been replaced at some point. In order to release the seat, you've got to take out the 2 bolts on either side on the rack if you have a rack. If you don't have a rack, you're just going to have a bolt there. And they look like that. So these are Allen heads, and just unscrew them, and then that will allow you to lift up the rear seat. You can see the seat retainer bracket there, and then pull back to release the seat. So there's the seat off, simple as that. And interestingly, you can see a whole bunch of holes drilled in the top of the airbox. So that tells me that the airbox modification's already been done on this, and you can see the battery right here for me to access the battery. So I want to add a battery tender to that, and so that I can keep the battery on a float charge. And let's have a little look at the airbox modification. It looks like he's drilled some holes in here to increase the airflow. So the guy that owned this bike did tell me that it has been modified, it has been tuned, it's got a racing carb on it, it's got a full free flow aftermarket exhaust, it's got different plugs, so I'm not sure what else he's done to it. It's probably, and the airbox modification. So as we get into this, we'll see. But that's how you take the seat off, and now we can take the rest of the plastic off, get to the battery. But that means taking off the entire rack. In order to basically take off this plastic part, I've got to take off the entire... Right, so here's the right side with all the plastic off. As you can see, I've removed the rear rack. That was just a couple of bolts here, one on the opposite side, and a top bolt, nice and easy. Pulled that off. That allowed me to take this piece of plastic off here, exposing the airbox, battery, wiring harness. Also pulled the rear muffler off because that was very loosely hung, not supported properly, with a hanger strap right here. Got to redo that and properly attach it, and I'm probably going to repaint the exhaust pipe and system because it's getting pretty rusty and corroded, so that could use a coat of paint, high temperature black or silver or something like that. At this point you can also see the adjustments for the rear monoshock, top end adjustments, and you've got the threaded adjustment on the inside. And then at the bottom here, you've also got adjustment point for sag down here where my fingertip is. Doesn't focusing very well. And then the actual shock itself, the coil, was covered with a Velcro cover to stop it getting nasty. So I'm going to clean that up, put it back on, but that's off for the time being. Got a better view here of the Nibby Racing carb on the inside here. I'm not sure how that is jetted right now, but I'm going to be riding this at higher altitude, so I'm probably going to have to adjust the jets that's in here, but we'll see how it runs once I get it running. But right now this battery is pretty old and pretty dead. I've got no power, so I'm going to put this on charge, and then we're going to try and start the bike and see if it will run with some juice in the battery, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so this is the airbox cover. Most dirt bikes have them exactly in the same spot. This one's got a sliding tab on the right side here, and two tabs right here that slot down and in. So what that tells me is that you're going to have to pop the tabs up on this side and then slide the lid back towards the rear mudguard. So I'm going to do that. Just get in here, and there you go. So it pops up on the side here, and then you want to push backwards this direction until you can lift it off. So there you go. That's how you get the top off. And yeah, you can see I've got a bunch of holes drilled in the lid here to increase the airflow. And then if we look down on the inside here, you can see I've got a reusable, cleanable air filter right there. So this whole box is going to get cleaned up, and we'll clean the air filter and then take out the battery right here and add my battery tender wires to the positive and negative terminals so I can float charge the battery. Once I've got a new battery in here, or charge this one up depending on what it needs. This is probably original to the bike. The bike's a 2020, which is very likely this is at the end of its life. So probably a good idea to put a new battery in. But I would like to try and get it started off this one, or I'll hook up one of my other batteries to the bike and see if we can get it going. Alright, so here's the removable uni air filter. It's just a butterfly nut. Unthread that. It's pretty tight for your hand to get inside here, but once it's untied, this is actually pretty clean. It's surprisingly clean, and lovely and sticky, which means it's been well oiled. So I'm going to leave this like that, and it really doesn't look like it even needs cleaning, to be honest. There's very little schmutz on it. I'm going to show you the inside of the air box. Got sticky oily fingers, get those nice and clean. You can see the air box and where the filter attaches to the side there. Bottom of the air box is very greasy and dirty, so we're going to get in there and give it a thorough clean. The mesh filter there looks in excellent condition. This bike's only got 500 miles, something like that on it. So it's pretty much in new condition, even though it isn't 4 years old, and it's dirty, but it hasn't been used in a year. So we're going to clean all that up next.